Peace, light, and love, YouTube. It is your man, J-Pharaoh. How is everyone doing today? What's up? What's up? It's the weekend. So today is Saturday. It's been a really cool day for me. I got to hang out with some brothers of mine, got some business taken care of, then did some more business, and now I am in a position to try to further enjoy this Saturday. I've been praying for really good vibes. And I just realized I did not delete the videos I deleted from my deleted album. So I have to make this video quick. Hopefully it doesn't cut off because of memory space. But yeah, we're manifesting huge memory space devices. Watch it happen. How's everybody living? So remember, we got election day on November 5th. Okay. Now I know a lot of people, especially in the spiritual communities, we have a lot of different perspectives on politics, the government. Is it worthwhile to vote, or are the politicians really running the country? Is the president really the chief of operations that's going on in the country? Is the president really the one who calls the shots? Honestly and truly, if what's really up. However you may view it, I'm just saying the election day is on November 5th. Make sure you register. You can vote early now. The time you see this video, you should be able to vote early. And I want to do a read from Maji Got the T's Oracle deck. So this is Maji Got the T's Oracle deck. This beautiful deck here. Very cool. So I started my channel doing these videos with this deck. And I am going to get more decks. If you've been watching me, you probably be like, oh my word, this J-Pharaoh dude in this same deck. But I get comfortable with it, and what I've noticed is that as a medium, someone who can channels information, channels energy, a lot of times I get to go on and start to rambling, talking, and spirit will say what it wants to say. The cards kind of be a cue, a visual, or what have you. But I know that a lot of times what God has for me to say, He's going to have for me to say, point blank, period, right? So let's get some cards and talk about it. Ooh, I love it. All right, so this is a message for the collective. Whenever you see this video, I like to just come on and vibe. So I want to thoroughly enjoy my Saturday, feel like I am doing good things with myself, feel like I am in alignment with good energy, good vibes, and that is why I am making this video, so that we can vibe out together. So back of the deck energy, angels are protecting you. I love it. Angels are protecting you. So we should focus on that. Even though we have challenges, right? Even though we have obstacles that we must overcome in order to be our greatest selves. Of course, when you enter new levels, you have new challenges. You have wow. Okay. I start thinking about mothers and daughters. That's so interesting. Maybe that's significant for someone. Please drop a comment down below. Maybe if you have a mother or daughter, maybe look into their relationship. So it's interesting because a lot of us, I'm going to first talk about it. We are born into families that a lot of times have generational challenges, generational curses, what have you. A lot of times as chosen ones, God's anointed ones, we are born into families that traumatize us, and that families that have been traumatized repeatedly throughout generations, whatever that trauma might be. I'm not going to name drop traumas just to not be triggering, for you, and honestly for me. Maybe it's a little bit selfish, but I don't want to. I'm like, God, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, God. But we have families that people hurt them, and then they in turn hurt us, right? And it is our job, our duty in being birthed into this life that we stop that trauma and that for our children we prayerfully to God, right, we don't repeat those traumas to our own children. And then I'm hearing that we have children, spirit babies calling out to us. So we have babies that are saying, hey daddy, hey mama, I'm ready to get here, get to it, get to it mama, get to it daddy. I'm ready. Um, 544 on the clock. Maybe that's significant for someone. That equals 4 + 4 is 8. 8 + 5 is 13. That boils down to a 4. So look, angels are protecting you. 444 is the angel number. And here we go. Angels are protecting you. So I'm hearing that we do have children that are aware of us and are ready to be birthed and that are coming, and that we are going to fulfill that role in not repeating those generational curses, those generational traumas. So that just went right through my head, came through. So that's the message. Okay, so let's get to the next card. Not only are you a miracle, one is on his way to you. And I love this because how beautiful is it to be a miracle in someone else's life? It's so beautiful that God will use us. I know we have experienced this many, many times, that God will use us in ways where we may not even be aware of anything really happening, but God is using our energy to bring like, God, divine source energy into a space, and people are blessed by God moving through us and influencing them, and we may not even be thinking about it. You could be at Foot Locker buying some Jordans. You could be at Target getting some Lysol. You know what I'm saying? And then that in that time you can encounter someone and bless them. You can deliver someone. God can do that through you. I know that we've heard so many times people say, they feel us. They feel a light coming from us. They feel God coming from us, and it's so amazing to be a miracle in someone else's life. It's a big responsibility. If you think about it, too much, it can become like, oh my God, what does it mean for me to be a miracle in someone else's life? What do I need to do to be worthy of God moving this way for me? And the beautiful thing about it that goes beyond our human comprehension is, God's creation of us in this human form, spiritual beings having a human experience, that God will use us in ways that the human mind cannot comprehend. And I'm just hearing that. And that is what God does with us. Whether we are at Foot Locker getting Jordans, if we are at Target getting Lysol, if you are a teacher in the classroom, if you are a baker in the kitchen, if you are a lawyer, if you are a doctor, if you are anyone, a mother, a father, a brother, sister, a neighbor, and God I'm hearing that, a lot of us at this time seem to be really concerned about our own well-beings, and that we are praying and calling forth for miracles that we feel as if we need, and to provide for things that we don't know how else we'll get these things, or how else we'll accomplish these things, or how else we'll succeed or survive without these miracles. And I believe God is communicating to you and me that He's got us, that the miracle is here. And oh my God, I feel a little emotional. My grown man self is not about to cry on this YouTube video, but God, I feel God saying, because I have these concerns myself, and God is saying, you are my child, you are my creation, I love you, and you do not realize the miracles that are at hand for you, that are unfolding, that are happening, that are at play for you right now. God's saying we don't know the miracles that are happening for us right now. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Did I ever say that I told you that I was perfect and that I didn't tell you that I am not perfect? You know, and maybe you say the same thing. But I know that despite the fact that I am not perfect and that there's so much that I need to work on and I try to work on, and at times I falter. But I know that God knows. God knew that I would falter in each way that I faltered. He knew that I would succeed in each way that I would succeed. He knew the events of my life. He knows the events of your life. Don't shame yourself for not being perfect. We strive to not hurt other people. And sometimes we might falter in that. We might hurt someone and didn't mean to. God knows. God knows. I'm hearing someone say on the other end, what's the next card? Atlantis. Atlantis. The next card is Atlantis. This is our second card out. Now, I tell you, as many times as I've come across this card with 1111 on the clock, why is that significant, God? Atlantis, 1111. Atlantis, 1111. Atlantis, 1111. Alignment. God's chosen ones. Many of us chosen ones, we have lifetimes in Atlantis. Maybe our previous lifetime was Atlantis. I know many of us feel like we've come from this place that is so not like Earth. And it's like, oh my God. When we look around planet Earth, we go through our lives, we're like, oh my God, what is this place? I'm gonna be honest with you. My entire life, I have had this sadness, if I be honest, this sadness about being on Earth. Even as a child, for as long as I can remember, I have had this feeling of, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had this feeling of, I don't want to be here. I don't like this place. What is this place? This place it's got mean things in it. It's got hardship in it. It's got trials and tribulations. And of course, the earth is this duality. We've got so many blessings, so many beautiful experiences that many spiritual entities want to incarnate in human form on planet Earth for the experience of being human. You know, they want to experience emotions and have human relationships, and they want to have a human body and feel and do human things. You know, and I'm so grateful for the great, beautiful experiences that God has blessed me with. I'm sure you are too. We are grateful for the good things of our life. Absolutely, because, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be here without the good things. But I say that to say that many of us anointed ones, God's light workers here, chosen ones, whatever you may call us, we have come from other worlds here to planet Earth as light beings. And we feel that we've come from somewhere so very different, so much more light, so much more joyous and divine than planet Earth. And that hurts. It hurts. I just give my own personal testimony of having always felt this. Being an elementary age child, contemplating how I was on planet Earth and looking around and not wanting to be here. And it has continued through all ages to now. I'm in my 30s. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just going to be honest with you. And this is a conversation that I have with God. And maybe you too have had this conversation many times with God. And you continue to go through this grappling with being human, with being here. You know, drop a comment down below. Let's talk about it. You know, I'm just going to be honest and say that I feel this. And I've always felt this. That I've come from somewhere else. And that I am here on Earth. And this place is truly a duality between heaven and hell on Earth. It's all here in the same uh, planet. Heaven and hell, the energies, the dualities are here. Hell ain't down there and heaven ain't up there. It's all, it's a duality of it all. The different planes, dimensions, realms, what have you. Yes. But what I would, leave it at is many of us have come from different worlds, places here to planet Earth to do God's work. We've come to be light in the darkness. And I'm not tooting my horn. I'm not saying, and it's something that I've had to come to believe about myself. I've heard it and I'm like, oh, I don't really know, me, a light, and why are they not light? Everyone else is a light too, right? Like, we all can be light. We all can be, everyone else is endowed with, these same qualities, right? And, I just would expect that from everyone. And I was raised in the Baptist church. So we're coming to these understandings for myself, and I don't mean to offend anyone, and I'll tell you because when I used to hear these things, maybe up and through my teenage years, I would get so offended. If anyone would go against what I was taught in the Christian church, first of all, as a psychology major, I understand that the brain will automatically go against any information that is presented to you that conflicts with your beliefs. Your foundational beliefs, your brain will, it will discredit the source of it. You will actually have the effect of pushing that source of information out in a way because it's challenging your core beliefs. And that's what I will experience. I don't want to hear anything that conflicted with, what I was taught, what I was conditioned to believe. But it was only through, and I mean, painful experiences of, I was no longer to understand myself and explain my reality by Christian beliefs, what I was taught in the church, from what I was spiritually being shown, my spiritual abilities and gifts and the things I was seeing and hearing and knowing and being able to do. I'm not getting into all these, on YouTube, maybe one day, some videos I have talked about it. I'm not gonna go too far in it right now, but when you have spiritual abilities, I'm not talking about things like, hearing voices that others are not hearing or seeing things that others can't see, even though we as spiritual beings with these abilities are able to do that, but it's a matter of, speaking something and making it happen, or, some things move over here and many of us can move it over here. A lot of times that happens by accident at first, or, when I started having these very prophetic dreams and where, I say this often, I tell this story often, there were times when with 1811 on the clock, I love that number. Shout out to Maji Got the T. Her birthday is made up of those numbers. But anyways, I tell the story often of how part of my clairvoyance, when I started to really recognize it, was when I was starting to, I would dream of the next day, every day for weeks. So it would happen like for a whole week, and then it would stop. I would be intermittent, and it would happen again. And where for a week, I would dream of the next day every night. I would wake up and write it down. And then when it happened, I would go back and say how it happened, in the journal. And I started seeing auras. I started seeing the auras of around people's heads, big time. I started seeing some people with third eyes, with three eyes. That's something as a child that had happened to me. And then I thought I was getting freaked out. I was so freaked out about it that I pushed it. I guess I repressed it, or whatever the case was. But I remember as a very young child seeing some people, and it seemed like they had three eyes. One, two, three, and things like that. These are things that many people, and many people watch my videos. I've learned, and who just watching this because they want, like, not because they're super spiritual, into a cult or what have you. It's because they kind of want to see what am I doing. And I guess many YouTubers and many people may experience this, who put out content and what have you. Oh, excuse me 1 second. My dog, I say this all the time. My dogs, when I start doing these videos, they start doing stuff. So I've been sitting here in meetings and stuff for hours, and my dog has been okay. Now that I'm here talking, doing this, she's making all these noises. I know she loves me. I know she needs me, but she's gonna have to stop making all this. She's chewing her ears, making these sounds. I'm sorry. Okay. Hi, babe. Go ahead and get down for me. Get down for me. And it's, I think, like, I really need to meditate on this, because I don't know. I care to be a great caregiver. I'm gonna say great parent to my pets. But I just noticed how, like, they really react to spiritual things, and someone didn't really like me saying that. So if you didn't like me saying that, guess what? You can click the bleep off this video. And I say that so respectfully. Why are you even watching it? So anyway, sorry. So yeah, talk about the Atlantis. I had a point about we come from other places to Earth for God's work, for God's light. And I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're joining. I don't mean to spew any negativity or anything to you, but sometimes you gotta let people know. I'm very clairsentient as well. Someone was thinking something negative and kind of pinged my skin a little bit. So I'm sorry, I had to address it. And we're gonna what? We're gonna remain calm at this time, baby. This is the our third card out, and perfect timing to transition to it. Remain calm at this time. So, like I was saying, and I think the significance of that is we as a collective, many of us are experiencing this, right? Where people are, we're in a new timeline. That much is for sure, right? Where we are now is so far from where we were 5 years ago, and on so many different levels. And I probably cannot explain that well, and I can't do it justice. There were ways, and I know you feel this, and I know you know this. I know it. Many of us were in certain types of bondage 5 years ago that we have been freed from. We are in different. The world has shifted and doors have opened, and we have moved and walked and transitioned, evolved. The caterpillar has gone through the chrysalis and process, and the cocoon process, and has become the butterfly. And man, aren't we some beautiful butterflies? Come on, baby, we are beautiful butterflies. We may be still learning how to flap our wings, and work our magic, and we're still learning, how to be the unicorns and dragons and priests and monks and witches and light workers and priestesses that we are. It's hard. It's a time where we have to understand that we have to remain calm through our challenges in life, because many things that we are destined to say, many messages we are destined to teach, are going to shake shit up. Excuse my English, or not. What we have come here to do is going to shake shit up by purpose. God intended for our messages to be, seem radical, taboo. This is all by God's divine purpose. And that's something that God had to tell me and continues to tell me, because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you work. For me, I've had experience where I've been at work and people have discovered my YouTube channel because they're just obsessive and stalkish. They just, they know my name, and so they start looking around. Like, why do that? You know what I'm saying? But they do it. And I've come across my channel, and they're like, oh my God, he has a whole channel talking about spiritual stuff and magic stuff and witchcraft and what? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? And I work in mental health. So it's like, for me to work in mental health and talk about things, like abilities to see things that others can't see, or be able to hear things that others can't hear. schizophrenia has, the textbook markers for schizophrenia are, hallucinations and delusions. Hallucinations having stimuli experience that other people aren't experiencing. So you're seeing something, feeling something that other people around you are not. Or delusional beliefs. You believe in things that others, that seem out of touch with reality. And I think a beautiful part of this part of my journey is because I am credentialed in psychology. That I have many people who might want to call me crazy, or call these things I say being out of touch with reality, are far less qualified than I am to make such a judgment. So when it come across me, the conversation gets to a point where we must acknowledge that between the two of us, the one qualified to even be having this conversation and making these assessments of behaviors is me, and most usually not the other person. And if the other person is credentialed to make such assumptions, or such assessments about someone's behaviors, what have you, then that's fair enough. So maybe what I'm saying is that with this remain calm at this time card is that people are going to criticize us. And I'm not saying this as if, I'm like, oh, I'm so strong with it and I'm so comfortable with it. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for people to sit there and, the message that you're going to give, they are not going to be able to receive, or they're going to, have negative responses to us. And things are hard. I'm feeling really emotional too. Maybe that's something in the collective we're feeling. I don't like to cry because a lot of times, to be honest, I ask myself, what good is it going to do? Now, as someone who works in mental health, I advocate for people to release their emotions. Catharsis is amazing. It's very healthy to have that release of emotion. But even still, for myself, I feel, well, what good is it going to do if I cry? There could be cultural aspects in that as well. Being a man, and what people feel like, we are acceptable. What's acceptable for us to do to express our emotions. But I've been feeling really emotional. And I know that we have been through so much. So for me personally, I've been through so much. My brain has gone through so much that when I go to look at myself, I honestly, lots of me feels unrecognizable to my own self, because I've just been constantly in many times survival mode. Many times I'm in the unknown, experiencing things that have put such a pressure on my brain. And I've had, I'm a person where, God knows, I will go and go and go and go and try to never consider giving up. Or try to never consider giving up. Tunnel vision for what I'm trying to achieve. Heavy Capricorn, heavy Leo in my charts. So I go and go and go. And at this point in my life now, I'm about to wrap this up soon because we're pushing 30 minutes. I'm finding that, to be honest with you, I don't really recognize this version of myself, because I've never been this version of myself in this life. And maybe you can relate to that. And that is a very vulnerable thing to say, but it's the truth. And I'm so grateful for what I've come through. And I don't like to tell people what I've been through, because many of them could not believe it, right? Many of the things that you've been through with your spiritual destiny, your spiritual path, your spiritual craft, people are not able to understand what you're saying, to believe what you're saying. Many people don't feel as if these occult things are real. So when you're telling people about things about, seeing the future, or, You having, maybe someone tried to manipulate you with, voodoo, manipulate you with some type of spiritual practice. Maybe someone tried to lure you into a space that was a circle of a witch's circle. Maybe you were literally drawn into a den of demons that intended to harm you. Maybe you know that is the truth, right? You know the truth. There's no question about whether it's really true or not. But can you tell that to someone and have them understand it, to be able to believe it when you tell them? In many cases, no. You can't tell them that and have them believe it because they don't understand it. Right? So through it all, we must remain calm. Maybe you're worrying about that rent. Maybe you're worrying about that car. Maybe you're worrying about that child. Maybe you're worrying about that job. Maybe you're worrying about your health. Maybe you're worrying about the country. Maybe you're worrying about racism. Maybe you're worried about the man down the street. Maybe you're worried about the woman around the corner. God is saying, remain calm at this time. Remain calm at this time. We must believe that rent is going to get paid. That doctor report is going to come back favorably. You have been healed. You will survive. What you're going through is purposeful. It's destined for you to be able to help yourself and help somebody else. We are not here for ourselves. And that's such a monumental, paramount understanding that we are not here for ourselves. We're not here for ourselves. Some reason I'm being called to show y'all this. I don't know why. Maybe some people, the infinity symbol resonates with you. I'm getting a big message to show y'all that. I got this years ago. And I really resonate with the infinity symbol. Very, very close to my heart and soul. When I started having the spiritual visions and channeling things, I would just channel the infinity symbol so much. So let's remain calm at this time. Remain calm. Well, guys, that was the fact that 33 minutes has gone by, and that felt like I was talking for like maybe 7 minutes. I know God definitely came through and had a message, and I really hope that it helps you. So until next time, I love you. I'm really praying that God blesses us with whatever it is that we need. I am your man, J-Pharaoh. Peace, light, and love. And until next time.